So I just finished recently recording an entire 20-minute rant on the current state of the Amazing Spider-Man comic book line, and I was going back through it. I was beginning the editing process, and I gotta say, I wasn't happy with what I was seeing. It's just not, it didn't feel genuine, it didn't feel authentic, and it doesn't feel like the kind of content that I want to put out. So instead of going ahead and talking about what I don't like, I'm instead going to go ahead and highlight a few things that I do like about Spider-Man at the moment, and some cool things that I wanted to talk about. So, first thing, this novelization from the the Ultimate Graphic Novels collection, which I think is still going on to this day, and I got this is like copyrighted 2012 or something, so this has been going on for a while. But this book is the gateway book that got me into Spider-Man. It taught me basically everything I know about the character, and I love it. I love it to absolute bits. It takes the pages of The Amazing Spider-Man issue 30 to 35, written by J. Michael Straczynski and drawn by John Romita Jr. You'll recognize him because he went ahead and drew a lot of the recent stuff as well. It is very good. This is one of my favorite comics. It hasn't been topped recently. It's just stuck with me. There's probably an element of nostalgia that has been played with it, but I love it. I won't give any spoilers as to the comic if you haven't read it, because honestly, I'm talking about this because I want you to go ahead and read it. It is fantastic. I love it. Please read this comic. It deserves all of the love, and it's just a great storyline. And even going past it a little bit with the issues that follow this as well, it's fantastic. It's just good Spider-Man storytelling. I love it. It's really good, and I highly recommend you go read it because this is good quality stuff. The next thing I wanted to talk about, Ultimate Spider-Man. A lot of people have been hyping that up, and for good reason. I have been reading every single issue as it's been released, and I love it. Absolutely love it. It is fantastic. I can't go into why I love it without going into talking about the series itself, and I could talk about this series at great length, but what I will say, Ultimate Spider-Man is written by Jonathan Hickman. And Jonathan Hickman, if you don't know who he is, he is one of the biggest Spider-Man fans out there, I would argue. If you've ever been floating around on the internet and you've seen a page spread of where Spider-Man was with Franklin Richards after Johnny passed away in the Negative Zone, and Franklin was trying to come to terms with that and trying to learn how to cope with the loss. And Spider-Man was helping through that, took him for a swing around the city, got him a hot dog. It was fantastic. And if you've ever seen that, he was responsible for that, Jonathan Hickman. He loves the character to bits. He understands it more than anyone else, I would argue. Because what he's done with this story is just so... It's so beautiful, in a single word. It's an approach on Spider-Man that hasn't properly been approached or tried at Marvel editorial before. A middle-aged Spider-Man getting his powers then, and trying to learn to adjust that while also trying to work around his family and with his family. It's on pen and paper. It's not something that they would go for. But I'm so glad that they did, because it is such a refreshing change, and I have been enjoying it so much. It is my favorite Spider-Man piece of media that is being published right now in the comic industry, and it is one of the few comics that I am actually keeping up with on a consistent basis. I love it. So please, go read it if you want some good... So please, go read it if you want some good Spider-Man media. It is fantastic. I love it. If you want to read this, by the way, Marvel Unlimited, I don't know if it has the other one, the Spider-Man Coming Home storyline. I assume it would, but yeah, whatever you do, however you can, please support the official release of these creators because they absolutely deserve it, and the more that you support the official release, the more that they can go ahead and get more work done. Get more serializations like that be made, and serializations like those two stories absolutely deserve to exist. We need to see more of that stuff because it is just so good, and I love supporting people who are passionate about their work. Speaking of which, a while ago I went to a convention, many months ago actually, and I was able to go ahead and purchase a bunch of artwork because I moved house and I was able to hang up a lot of stuff. One of the pieces I got while I was there was this piece. This piece was made by a person named Jackson Caspers. They're Melbourne based, and it's such a good piece of work. I love this piece so much. It just looks so good. It's fantastic. He did such a great job with it. So if you're at all interested in checking out his stuff, that is Jackson_CAP or CASPERSZ. I'll leave a link in the description to go and check out his work, but he's done a lot of amazing work. I picked up some Jujutsu Kaisen artwork from him as well, and he's a great artist. He does a lot of good work, and he has a lot of really cool stuff on on his page. Please check him out, and if you can, support him. He deserves it. He's fantastic. And speaking of Jujutsu Kaisen, I might as well talk about one more Spider-Man thing that I really enjoy and have just recently rediscovered again. It's a little story called Spider-Man Red. Now this Spider-Man story is a little bit different to a lot of the normal stuff that we get because it is not a traditional American comic book per se, but it is rather a Japanese manga. Now I like manga, I like Spider-Man, and of course I had to check it out. And I really enjoyed that story. I thought it was a very good story. I thought it was very well written, a very interesting take on it, but ultimately the message at the end of the story is very reminiscent of a lot of the messages of what Spider-Man has represented in a lot of media, specifically referring to the Spider-Verse movies, in that anyone can wear the mask. It was a different shift on how they approached these elements, but I enjoyed it. I don't exactly know where to read it officially, but if you can find a place to read it officially, like any bookshop, publisher, it does have an official publication. Recently came across it in a bookstore, so if you can find the official English publication and purchase that, please do. It's fantastic, it's a good read, and I'm sure you will have a good time with it. But yeah, if you're looking for a palate cleanser that is not terribly influenced by the Marvel editorial team, go check out those comics, those series, and the artist Jackson as well. Even though the main comics might not be the greatest, there's still a lot of great work that either has been done or is still being done. And the individuals that are doing the good work absolutely deserve to have their work supported. So please go and support those people, go and support those comics, and let's keep this industry thriving. Even though things are looking bleak right now for the mainline comic, that doesn't mean it can't get better. So keep supporting people, keep the industry alive, and maybe one day we'll be able to see a bit of a turn and hope that more than anything, Paul can fuck off from the mainline comics. Seriously, he needs to leave.